At the top of the world, a beast is born. It roars upward from the tundra to snake down the coast and become the longest mountain range in Europe. Yet it's so little known. It was only recently named. 870 miles of wilderness, adventure, and breathtaking scenery. Now, follow 4 seasons through Norway's Nordryggen mountains as it separates towering fjords from frigid glaciers, commands the wildest weather, and defines all of Scandinavia. This is Nordryggen mountain range. It cuts through the heart of Norway, nearly the full length from north to south. Yet it had no name until the 1940s, when it was dubbed the Scandies. Then it was renamed in 2013 by popular vote to Nordryggen, or North Back. And of more than 230 major peaks in Nordryggen, one wears the crown. A third the way up the range, Galdhøpiggen. It is Norway's tallest mountain and the highest peak in all of Scandinavia. 8,070 feet to the top of the world. These jagged ridges have shaped all of Scandinavia. To the west, these mountains plunge into the sea. But to the east, it's the hills and plateaus of Sweden and the flat forest and swamps of Finland. Nordryggen mountains dictate the topography and the weather. Nordryggen starts low in the north and rises quickly as you head south. The range is 870 miles long, longer than the Alps. For about half of that, it carries the border between Norway and Sweden. Then the mountains continue south and eventually drop into the ocean in spectacular fashion. In winter, the extreme depth of the snow in the mountains here leads to one of Norway's most amazing sights. From a distance, it appears as a giant chasm snaking through the peaks. Or more like a mysterious snowcano. This is the extraordinary annual spring clearing of snow along a zigzagging mountain pass on Scandinavia's Nordryggen mountain range. This is part of a 34-mile stretch of road called Trollstigen, meaning troll ladder. But each of the 11 hairpin bends of this narrow road also has its own name. It was cut into the mountain by hand and officially opened in 1936. It closes for winter, and each spring requires 3 weeks of removing snow that's sometimes 20 feet deep. It's a world of white. And that includes some of the animals. Arctic foxes are built for the cold, with thick white fur that even covers the pads of their feet, and ears that are rounded to make them less susceptible to frostbite. These captive foxes are part of a government-funded effort in Dovre to preserve the species. Arctic foxes are critically endangered in Norway, and this breeding program in the Nordryggen Mountains is trying to bring them back from the brink. The senior scientist here is Arild Landa.
Because the Arctic fox has a very nice and valuable winter fur, it was hunted down to very low populations in the beginning of 1900. A nice blue Arctic fox skin was paid with 800 kroners, which equals to 1 year's salary at that time.
Climate change makes the Arctic regions warmer and more inviting for the common red fox. It's slowly migrating north. The Arctic foxes lose their dens to the invaders and are sometimes attacked by them, even killed. Here in the enclosures, they breed and grow strong before being released into the wild.
We started to release in 2007, and today this is the largest Arctic fox population in Norway.
They'll soon be able to explore the Nordryggen Mountains just outside their enclosure. And like the foxes, these mountains are still growing and changing, a work in progress. In the midst of this great range, Jostedalsbreen. It's the largest glacier in mainland Europe, but still just a remnant of its former self. Over a million years, giants like Jostedal shaped the mountains of Trollheimen that now surround them. But not the very top of the tallest peaks. The ice never got this high. Throughout the Nordryggens, there are places where you can still see such glaciers at work, carving their way through the rocks to create new valleys. Svartisen is the second largest glacier in Norway, attracting hikers who climb onto this icy behemoth. And that's when we get a sense of scale. Svartisen is some 229 square miles in area, more than 10 times the size of Manhattan. There are no restrictions on climbing here or anywhere in Norway. Activities are governed by an extraordinary law. What it allows adventurers to do is nothing short of astonishing. Norwegians call it the right to roam. This law gives everyone the freedom to run, hike, bike or ski in Scandinavia's Nordryggen mountains or wherever they want. Government land and even on private property, it's available to all. You can even camp anywhere you like, as long as it's 500 feet from a building. Right to roam has been a tradition since the days of the Vikings and law in Norway since 1957. Trollheimen, in the middle of Nordryggen, attracts casual hikers year-round and even extreme rock climbers from all over the world. Tommy Scheide is an author who's come to tackle an area just south of Trollheimen.
What I like about the view in this place is that you can't see any roads, you can't see any houses. Even in the darkness, you can't see any lights. You could imagine that this is just the same 10,000 years ago.
Even today, Tommy can be the first to summit some of the peaks of Nordryggen.
I've been looking at this ridge for quite a long time. I've been making a guidebook and no one have climbed the ridge, according to my research.
The tallest straight cliff on the continent is nearby, making the entire area an adventurer's playground.
We go skiing into the mountain, and when we come to the base, we prepare for the climb. We look through the equipment, we put it on the harness, we inspect the route, how does it look today, and then, we just start climbing.
Trollheimen means home of the trolls, and Nordic legend says this is the land of many fairy tale characters. Nordryggen even inspired Norwegian composer Edvard Grieg to write some of his most famous works, like this one, In the Hall of the Mountain King. A keyhole unlocks the door to the top. And a rare view of untouched wilderness.
It's remote, you don't bump into so much people. You can have a real adventure. It's like time doesn't exist, and it pops out like a separate reality.
As the weather warms, even more mountain peaks become accessible. Summer comes quickly. And now the biggest behemoths in these mountains get munching. One in particular. They call him the king of the forest. Moose can be 6 feet tall just to the shoulder. They graze in the clearings and the woods. The tip of a tree is fine food as long as it's aged. Young pines produce chemicals that make them less tasty, but it's a defense the trees lose with age. So the top of an older fallen pine is perfect pickings for a moose. It also helps them with a problem. Moose only have sharp teeth in their lower jaws, so their chompers are more like a knife than a pair of scissors. A supportive branch from a pine acts like a cutting board. They're always on a high alert for predators. Before bedding down, moose will often travel upwind and then swing back in a semicircle. This way, any predator following their scent will have to search upwind before finding them. And the carried scent of the predator will alert the moose to danger. Wild reindeer also live in the forest of Nordryggen, and they use similar methods to protect themselves. These animals were the crucial food source that allowed early explorers from the south to push the boundaries of the known world. The reindeer are nomadic, and the bare mountains and some forests in the southern part of the range are the only places in Norway where wild reindeer can still be found. The Scandinavian winter taught wild reindeer how to make the most of limited food. Lichen from the ground and the trees can be as much as 80% of their diet. It's different in the far north of Scandinavia. The reindeer here are semi-domesticated. The sound of racing hooves means watch out. In the far north of Norway's Nordryggen Mountains, it's roundup time. The Sami people have rounded up and worked reindeer here for thousands of years. But things have changed a bit from the old days. Today, these reindeer are coming in for their summer checkup. As the reindeer run in a circle, the herders size them up and separate them into different groups. Some will see a vet. Some will get ear tags or collars for tracking. Others will be sectioned off for market. Reindeer allowed nomadic Sami people to move into and across Scandinavia. Despite the harsh winters, the Sami settled here at the top of the world, where their territory marks the northernmost point of a mighty mountain range. Nordryggen begins here with a gentle rise. The trees are short this far north. But just a little farther south, the mountain ridge climbs. The trees grow taller. And this wilderness draws wild things like a magnet. Creatures that don't mind the chill of the north. This is a Eurasian lynx, the largest species of lynx on the planet. And this big female is not alone. In her rocky den, the blessing of spring. Kittens. Not one, but two. Like mom, they have ear tufts. They are common to all lynx, but no one knows why. The young predators are born ready for winter. With wide paws that act like snowshoes. Their coats will soon change color with the season to mostly silver gray. Mums as well. But right now, it's all about exploring the sights, smells, and sounds of the new mountainous world. One small step for a kitten. These kittens won't be scaredy cats for long. Their range will grow as they age, up to 150 square miles. This year with mom is the most social time of their lives. As they will live mostly alone, the time here playing and feeding is precious. As the sun starts to set, mom moves her kittens to a safe place. Then she must leave them and head out for the hunt. If her kittens survive their first year, they may live to 17 or so years old. But it's a long haul. Lynx were nearly endangered here just 100 years ago. And today they are legally trapped and hunted throughout Scandinavia. Mom must be careful. A lot of mouths depend on her success. Working in her favor, a mountain wilderness home that is barely touched by humans. You can quickly find yourself alone in Nordryggen. The Padjelanta area is a national park, yet it has no roads. Its name translates to the higher land, and it's harder to get to than most any place in Scandinavia. These are rarely seen vistas, but those who have been here have dubbed it Europe's last wilderness. Its untouched forests, large mountain lakes, and countless islands are all part of a World Heritage Site. Also here, the most fearsome creatures in all of Scandinavia. Brown bears once lived in all of Norway's forests, until a bounty on their head in the late 1800s nearly wiped them out. They're back now. And some 5,000 roam Scandinavia, usually alone, like this big male. He mainly eats plants and berries, but may occasionally take down a sheep, especially when he has to pack on the pounds to prepare for hibernation. He may store food in holes among these rocks, but only if he can find a place safe from scavengers like ravens or even one of the hardiest creatures in all Scandinavia. The wolverine. This one wanders in close to check out the bear's lair. Wolverine are the largest members of the weasel family. But is a free snack worth taking on a real giant? No bear is going to give up its stash that easily. The Nordryggen mountain range is full of such predators on the prowl. Wolf packs can be as few as 2 or 3, and as big as 30. Family clans are always led by a male and a female, who usually pair for life. A Eurasian wolf pack is powerful enough to bring down a moose. They move quickly as they dart through the forest and look for a sniff of a snack. Any sign of potential prey. Roe deer, an important and favorite food for Eurasian wolves. This catch will keep the three of them well fed for about a week. The younger pups will want to stay with the pack to share such meals for at least a year. Just a little farther south, they must be careful. Some tasty-looking prey could get them in serious trouble. More than 2 million domestic sheep and goats graze throughout Norway in the warmer months. Halfway down the mountain range, they feast. Farmers lead their herds out and let them roam free from around June to September. Livestock scour the mountain range looking for the best nibbles, not a fence in sight. This is another age-old tradition, and some of the breeds, like the small Viking sheep, go back more than 1,000 years. Just one sign of the rich human heritage woven throughout the Nordryggen range. Nordryggen is longer than the Alps and the Pyrenees put together. As they stretch farther south, they become more mountainous. "30 old churches showcase the depth of the culture in Norway. This church in Heddal was built more than 800 years ago. It sits on a foundation of boulders and is made entirely of wood. The churches of Scandinavia's Nordryggen often sit along major trade routes. Old roads that are now connected by what some have called the eighth wonder of the world. Norway's 100-year-old rail line from Oslo to Bergen is one of the highest train journeys on the planet. At times, it must climb more than 4,000 feet to complete its journey. Motor through 182 tunnels and charge above the tree line to affirm its title as the highest mainline railway in all of Northern Europe. Just outside, at almost any time, Scandinavia's Nordryggen mountain range is still a wild place. After 800 miles down the mountain range, there is only 70 to go. But Scandinavia's Nordryggen arguably saves the best for last. Most mountain ranges around the world slowly peter out. The Nordryggen Mountains run into dramatic drops that plummet into the sea. At Lysefjord, the abrupt end of the mountains was created by a glacier that slowly moved through here more than 1 million years ago. That glacier has long since melted, but the rock it carved as it went left us with these cliff faces more than 3,000 feet high and cascades that plunge into the water below. The awe-inspiring scenery attracts hikers and daredevils. And this is the home of Norway's most famous natural feature, Pulpit Rock. Featured in movies and sought out by visitors. Like the rest of the Nordryggens, there are no fences, no safety rails, and you approach at your own risk. One creature here has no concerns about the lofty heights. The undisputed king of the skies in Norway is the golden eagle. Autumn brings a smattering of snow to his kingdom, but he shrugs off the cold. Golden eagles are one of the largest eagles in the world. Their wings span longer than a fully grown man, nearly 8 feet across. Pairs nest in cliffside caves or in solitary pines, where they keep a lookout for easy scraps like this dead fox. They are more likely to take risks in tough times. And tough times are coming with the change of season. As winter again draws near, the biggest creatures out here prepare for a fight. It's a clash of titans. Autumn in Norway's Nordryggen mountain range is an important social time for musk oxen. And they communicate by smell. Their very name comes from the pungent odor they develop during this time. The smell of a Scandinavian musk oxen can get the others grinning. This teeth baring is called the flamen response. A gland near their eyes produces a scent that sends signals to others. They rub it on plants and even on each other to make important announcements. I'm here. I'm strong. I'm ready to fight. This rutting lasts for 2 months. Then, with late autumn rains, comes this. Waterfalls gush throughout Nordryggen. Of the world's highest 30 waterfalls, 10 are in this mountain range. The king of this watery realm is Vettisfossen. Vettisfossen is among the tallest waterfalls on the planet. A plunge of more than 900 feet. In the warmer months, it's fed by melting ice from a glacier high above. Also, Vöringsfossen. It is one of the most visited waterfalls in Scandinavia, and it has a free fall of nearly 600 feet. But now, the winter freeze changes everything. Suddenly, the mountains are caked in snow from top to bottom. And Nordryggen, the most powerful and influential landscape in all of Scandinavia, begins a new season of transformation. From its icy glaciers to its frozen peaks, this barely explored wilderness manages to shape and define all of Scandinavia, all year round. Yet it hides in plain sight. It only just got its official name, but it's been some 400 million years in the making. And all that is truly wild about Scandinavia can be found right here in Nordryggen.